Remember who you are. Remember where this started from. You've just forgotten for a minute. If you make yourself right, everything else will connect up in the world around you. There are not enough words to describe that connection you feel when you hear someone going from help, I'm not sure where to go, to laughter.
One of the most wonderful things about your readings is your incredible softness, warmth and empathy. You know, you and I had sort of similar childhoods which were quite challenging. Do you think that's where you got your empathy and compassion from?
I do actually, and I do feel that people connect more deeply to me in readings when they realise, oh wow, so you've been there, you've come through this. And it does add a certain piquant to reading, it definitely does. And I'm happy to share that with people if it enables them to move on, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your childhood and some of your first spiritual experiences.
Oh gosh, yeah, I was known for dropping people in the family. Say we'd have visitors and they'd come in and they'd say, oh, we're very late, you know, something odd or other happened with the car, and I'd say, no, it wasn't, you couldn't be bothered. And I really would. I'd come up with things like this, and it would land me in some trouble. I'd also spend hours going around the house and I'd be picking up belongings that used to be my great-grandfather's. And my family would say, where are you taking that? I'm taking it to my Dicky grandfather. And they were his things, and he died 5 years before I was born.
Did you find that your spirituality helped you in certain tough times in your own life?
Well, yes. I mean, the thing about how I was, even as a child being psychic, I was quite bullied, actually, because I've always been, I'm me, and this is it, and that's how it is, and I've always been lovingly direct, but I would always be myself. And because you could say I was quite literally off with the elementals sometimes. It made me a little slower in school, and again at that point it would attract a lot of attention, and it did give me succor. I wouldn't change, I wouldn't back down, I wouldn't say no, that didn't really happen. It gave me a certain fortitude as well of how important it is to be true to your own self. It really did.
So what advice would you give to other people who are just coming to the start of their path, or they're feeling alienated because of their spirituality or their gift?
Well, as I say, from someone who thinks, you know, it's incredibly normal. I'd say if you're someone who can say, oh, I have 4 or 5 coincidences today, they're not coincidences. I haven't believed in coincidences since I was 6 years old. If you think of a friend and they're popping up on the phone, or you've thought of a film from years ago and, oh, you turn the telly on, there it is. Trust me, somebody's throwing big hints at you that you're psychic.
I think also the fact that we're all psychic, we've all got it in us, and it's just a question of it's a bit like learning to get fit. With your body, you may go to the gym, but with this it is about meditation, just paying attention, being mindful and accepting that it's normal. It's just another sense that we've all got that maybe we've lost contact with.
Yeah, and it's a very important one, especially we are overdriven today. We are being made to move at a rate we were not born to do. We don't have to fill 24 hours in constantly. We need to start, I think, dialing back and just that time to breathe, that time to meditate. A 5-minute meditation, a good one, it's like a week in Barbados for me. It really is. And it's a lot cheaper too.
So what's your favourite tarot deck, or what's your favourite way of connecting with people?
Oh, I hate it when people ask what's my favourite tarot deck. It's like, which is your favourite child? I'm a great lover of Tarot of the Old Path. I call it my practical magic and wise woman's deck. Of course, I love my shape-shifting shamanic deck. That is amazing. All decks have the capacity to help, but as we're all different people, each deck to me is like a different person. So very much when I go into the shamanic shape-shifting deck, the person has probably tried this avenue, that avenue, the other avenue. So we go on a deeper, different journey to really get to the core of why is this repeating itself all the time, and why isn't it moving forward when I've done everything right.
So if somebody wants to choose their first deck, what advice would you give them?
Well, I know there's the old tradition of you must be given your first deck, and a lot of the first decks I was given, they were lovely, but I couldn't bond with them.
I've always chosen my own decks. I don't go along with that.
I think spirit leads you. They're going to the shop and there's something for you. And it was so funny how I found my very first deck, because it was in a joke shop in Blackpool. If I told you what my beautiful old path deck was nestling between, you wouldn't believe me. And I thought, what do you do when you don't belong amongst these very interesting, I think it was a set of handcuffs one side, and Lord knows what was on the other. And I was like, you must come home with me. And I never looked back. From the minute I turned the first cards, I bonded to this deck. And I can actually tune in with any deck. I mean, I can get a deck, and first shuffle, I have a way of, the images speak to me. Doesn't matter what maybe the book has said to that, but I can still always vibrate to that image. When I check it out later, it always matches.
That's exactly how I teach people.
Yeah,
it's so easy. Don't complicate it. Get your deck, look at the image, and it will speak to you.
Yeah.
You know, write it down, play with it. It's actually, you know, easy to learn. It's about allowing it to speak to you. Have you got any tarot tips on how to learn the tarot if you're starting?
I feel, first of all, get a deck you don't like, get a deck you feel you're in love with the images. You're going to bond to it quicker. Don't put yourself under any pressure. I'm going to be reading tarot perfectly in a month's time. It doesn't work like that. The more relaxed you are, the more open that you're going to be to the information flowing through you. Pressure blocks you. And meditation, seriously, even 5 minutes meditation, that is your biggest tool to connect into spirit, because you're closing down this world and you're opening yourself up to the other. And don't just think you've got to meditate in the house. Quiet spot by the shoreline, make sure you're safe and everything, because the veil between the worlds is at its thinnest between the sea and the shoreline. And it's very energizing and helpful. So maybe, you know, just take your time, very much so. That's what I would say, and, you know, just go for it. Don't be afraid. There's nothing to fear.
Yeah, just go for it, write it down, try it, play. Be the fool in the tarot, leap in with the spontaneous heart.
Have a friend. I mean, ask a question you already know the answer to, and it'll match up in those cards. Because the magic always works. I love it when the magic always works. And I say a tarot diary. Keep what works. Keep as well, more importantly, where you think, oh, I nearly had that right.
Yeah, exactly.
Critique yourself a little bit. Don't hammer yourself, but think, I know when I misinterpreted that just a little bit. So
can you hear that sound outside? That's son of Elvis. My cockerel has obviously got confused about what time of the day it is. Anyway, I think he's just coming in to just honour what you've said. Yes, I think so. Now I could talk to you all night and all day, but I want to finish with I'd love to know, in all of our lives we pick up wisdom along the way, wisdom that's essential to our survival, wisdom that we think, if only I knew that in the past. What would you say are the top 3 or 4 things that this much you know that you've learned on your journey? Right. One, that once you put your heart into anything, nothing is impossible. The only thing you have to fear is fear itself. And this is a bit of passed on wisdom, but it's so true. Every minute you spend being unhappy is a minute you won't get back. Make everything happen today. Don't wait. Time is flying by, and that is very much what I live from. Wow, that's wonderful. It's been such a pleasure to spend time with you. You're an incredible, loving, beautiful and strong soul, and I'm just so proud and pleased that you're on our team. Well, thank you, Michelle. I feel very much the same way about you. It is a blast being part of your team. Thank you so very much.